Caitlin Clark's hard foul on Angel Reese. Essentially, Angel Reese gets the ball. Caitlin Clark goes over, does a hard foul, commits a hard foul on Angel Reese. She falls to the ground. Aaliyah Boston steps in and kind of stops Angel Reese. Courtney Vandersloot also steps in. Now, with this play, they did call a flagrant 1 on Caitlin Clark. They said that it was unnecessary.
Here's the challenge. How do you compete against a team holding you to 29% shooting? Angel Reese and the Sky couldn't find the answer, and Caitlin Clark only made it worse. Let's break it down. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. You already know this isn't just another matchup. It's the rivalry everyone's been waiting for. Back in college, these two were at the center of heated debates, viral moments, and intense finals games that had us glued to our screens.
Indiana Fever beat the Sky by nearly 40 points. They won 93-58. This is going to be something that goes viral. A bunch of people are going to talk about it. People are going to make it into something bigger than it needs to be. They're going to make this rivalry come back. Right before that play, Angel Reese had some contact with Natasha Howard. Caitlin Clark saw that contact. She turns to the refs and she's like gesturing to them. And this is all happening very, very quick, you guys.
Reese, the dominant force at LSU, and Clark, Iowa's scoring phenom, went head to head in the NCAA Championship. And even though it ended with Reese and LSU taking home the trophy, the trash talk, the gestures, the back and forth, it all became part of the legend. So when the WNBA schedule dropped and we saw these two would meet in their first professional game, yeah, that was marked on everyone's calendar.
Now, basketball 101, if somebody has a wide open layup and you have a foul to give, it is in your best interest to foul that shooter so that they don't get an easy 2 points. She's gesturing to them because she believed that Angel Reese fouled Natasha Howard. Now, from that, Angel Reese gets the ball. Caitlin Clark realizes she is about to go up for what seems like a wide open layup. And what Caitlin said during an interview with Holly Rowe, she essentially said, it was either Angel gets a wide open layup or we send her to the free throw line. It was a basketball play. There was nothing malicious behind it. I just knew I had to foul her hard.
But let's fast forward to the game itself. The Fever came out aggressive, looking like a team that spent the entire offseason preparing for this exact moment. Aaliyah Boston was anchoring the team with her presence in the paint, and the Fever's defense was suffocating. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark had already started to show flashes of the IQ and skill that made her so dominant in college. She was turning rebounds into fast breaks, threading passes, and knocking down shots. On the other side though, Angel Reese couldn't seem to find her groove. She struggled against the Fever's defensive schemes, missing shots she normally makes and turning the ball over in key moments. You could just feel the pressure mounting for her. And then it happened. With 4:38 left in the third quarter, Reese drove toward the basket trying to get something going for her team, but Clark wasn't having it. She went for a hard foul, an arm extended enough to knock Reese to the floor. The crowd erupted as Reese popped back up, clearly angry, stepping toward Clark to let her know exactly how she felt. Teammates rushed in to separate them while the refs moved in to restore some order. The tension was building in the arena and you could see it. Both teams were feeding off that energy. The referees took their time reviewing the play, watching every angle before deciding. The verdict? Clark's foul was upgraded to a flagrant one. On top of that, the skirmish led to technical fouls for both Angel Reese and Aaliyah Boston. It was a chaotic stretch and exactly the kind of moment that had the fans locked in. Reese was visibly frustrated, animated on the sidelines as teammates tried to calm her down. On the other side, Clark stayed composed. In her post-game comments, she called it a take foul, downplayed the whole incident, and said, "I wasn't trying to do anything malicious. That's not the type of player I am." The difference in their reactions said everything about how they approach this rivalry.
Rebecca Allen, too strong on a three. And look out, Caitlin Clark pushes Angel Reese, and Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark in the aftermath.
Everyone in the arena had to know this foul was coming. As soon as you saw Angel Reese wide open, you knew that Caitlin Clark was going to come in and take that foul.
The on-court ruling of a personal foul on Caitlin Clark has been upgraded to a flagrant foul, penalty 1. In addition, There is a double technical on Boston and Reese.
But let's be clear, that foul wasn't just about one moment. It shifted everything. The Fever came out of the timeout locked in, going on a dominant 12-2 run immediately after. It was like Clark's hard foul lit a fire under her teammates, and they fed off that energy. Their defense tightened up even more, forcing more mistakes from Reese and the Sky. On the offensive end, Clark was orchestrating everything. It wasn't just about scoring. She was finding open teammates, keeping the Sky's defense spinning, and controlling the game's tempo. Meanwhile, Reese couldn't seem to shake the frustration. She was forcing plays, making it easier for the Fever to capitalize, and her impact on the game started to fade. Aaliyah Boston also deserves credit for how she backed up her teammate. After stepping in during the skirmish and taking a technical, she kept her head in the game and dominated in the paint. Boston wasn't just protecting Clark, she was setting the tone for the entire team. And when the Fever went on that run, she was right in the middle of it, grabbing boards, scoring in the post, and making sure her team didn't lose focus. By the end of the third quarter, the game didn't feel like much of a rivalry anymore.
She deserves it. She's one of the best players that's ever played the game and touched the ball. So, I mean, not only a great person, great basketball player, really great leader for our team. So I feel lucky enough to learn from her every single day.
To start your season 2025 with a triple-double, what message does that tell you about where you belong in this league?
But yeah, we were hunting her. They were making it hard on us, but we were trying to get switches and everything, but we finally got it. And at the free throw line was pretty crazy, and let the fans cheer for her was awesome.
The Fever had full control, and the Sky were reeling. Clark's ability to stay calm, brush off the drama, and focus on her team stood out. That's the kind of approach that defines winners, not just in one game, but over a career. And that's the thing about Caitlin Clark. She's not trying to outshine anyone with words or gestures. She does it with her play. Angel Reese, on the other hand, couldn't hide the frustration. The storyline wasn't about her dominance this time. It was about her struggles and how the Fever took over. This moment, though, was more than just a heated exchange or a highlight for the recap. It was the turning point. The Fever didn't just win this game, they sent a message to the rest of the league. They're not here to back down, no matter who's on the other side of the court. And Caitlin Clark, she didn't settle this rivalry with one flagrant foul, but she showed exactly why she's the one everyone should be worried about. When it comes to stepping up and turning chaos into dominance, she's already ahead of the game. And now that we've broken down how the rivalry boiled over, let's talk about the real headline, Caitlin Clark's historic night. Because this wasn't just about tension or rivalries, it was about making history on one of the biggest stages in the league, and Clark did exactly that. Let's dive into the performance that had the whole basketball world talking. Caitlin Clark walked into her WNBA debut carrying weight most players never face. The expectations were sky high after her record-breaking college career, and critics were ready to pounce on any sign of struggle. Could she handle the physicality and speed of the professional game? Would she still stand out when surrounded by other top-tier talent? This season opener wasn't just any game, it was her chance to answer every doubt, and Clark didn't waste a second. All eyes were on her, but early on, the Indiana Fever leaned on their team defense to set the tone. While their suffocating defense held the Chicago Sky to 29% shooting, Clark started finding her spots within the chaos. She wasn't rushing or forcing plays, she stayed patient, letting the game come to her, but the pressure was undeniable. Fans wondered if she'd live up to the hype, and the Sky held no punches, trying to limit her impact. The Fever were in control, but everyone knew this game was Clark's test. Could she rise? Answering that question didn't take long. Clark didn't just rise, she took over. By the time the game was finished, she had achieved something no WNBA player ever had before. 20 points, 10 assists, and 10 rebounds in a season opener. Think about that. In her very first WNBA game, she recorded a triple-double, something not even the league's greatest legends managed to pull off. Diana Taurasi never did it. Candace Parker never did it. Sue Bird didn't either. Clark's name goes on a list all by itself. But it wasn't just the numbers, it was how she played. Her 20 points came in a way that showcased her versatility. She hit shots from deep, found space in the mid-range, and attacked the rim when the defense gave her an opening. At one point, she pulled up from well beyond the arc, draining a three as if it were a routine jumper. But it wasn't just about her scoring. She was dishing out assists that left the Sky scrambling. The way she controlled the pace of the game, setting up teammates with pinpoint passes, made the Fever's offense look untouchable. Key plays like a laser pass to a cutting teammate or a clutch three-pointer during the third quarter showed just how locked in she was. And her rebounding? That wasn't just stat padding, it was critical to the team's team's game plan. Clark crashed the boards relentlessly, using her court awareness to grab defensive rebounds and immediately push the ball up court. She turned nearly every rebound into an opportunity to run in transition, catching the Sky off guard repeatedly. Those rebounds didn't just stop Chicago's offense, they fueled Indiana's. What made this triple-double even more impressive was how she did it without forcing anything. She didn't dominate the ball or take unnecessary chances. She let the game flow and struck when the moment was right. Even the other players could see it. The Fever's Aaliyah Boston said after the game how important Clark's presence was in keeping the team composed during key stretches. And it's true, Clark's poise stood out. While rookie nerves could have been an issue, especially in such a hyped matchup, she looked like she belonged from the opening tip. Take one specific moment in the second half. The Fever were up, but the game wasn't quite out of reach yet. Clark grabbed a defensive rebound and instead of slowing things down, immediately launched a pinpoint pass to a streaking teammate for an easy layup. It was the kind of play that broke Chicago's spirit. You could see it on their faces. The Sky were running out of energy and answers. Clark wasn't just making plays, she was crushing any hope the Sky had of a comeback. This wasn't just about individual brilliance though. While Clark was making history, the Fever's defense was quietly putting on a clinic. They swarmed the Sky, closing out on shooters, cutting off driving lanes, and dominating the boards. Holding a team to 29% shooting isn't easy, but the Fever made it look routine, and Clark's ability to capitalize on their defensive stops made her performance that much more impactful. Having an elite scorer and playmaker ready to punish every mistake gives this Indiana team an edge few others have. After the game, Clark didn't focus on her own achievement. Instead, she highlighted the team's effort. In the post-game press conference, she said, "I thought we were disruptive," praising the Fever's defensive performance as the key to their success. She even took the time to shout out her teammate, Dana Bonner, for moving into third place on the WNBA's all-time scoring list. It's that team-first mentality that makes Clark not only a great player, but also a great leader. She knows how to balance her individual greatness with the bigger picture. Clark's triple-double wasn't just a milestone, it was a statement to critics, to fans, and to the rest of the league. She's not just here to compete, she's here to dominate. From her sharp decision-making to her ability to take over when it mattered most, she showed she's more than ready for the professional level. This moment will be remembered as the start of something big, not just for her, but for the Indiana Fever. When was the last time a rookie controlled a game like that in her debut? Exactly. While Clark's historic debut grabbed the headlines, the Fever's overall balance can't be overlooked. Their defense set the foundation, and Clark took them to a level the Sky couldn't match. So what does this mean for the rest of the league? Stick around, because next we're talking about the Fever's defense, and trust me, you'll want to hear how this team is already carving a reputation as one of the toughest squads to crack. The Fever didn't just win, they sent a loud message to the rest of the WNBA with a 93-58 blowout, tying the second largest victory in franchise history. This wasn't just about the scoreboard. Caitlin Clark in her debut proved she's not just a rookie, but a game changer. "I thought we were disruptive," Clark said post-game, emphasizing defense and her team-first mentality, which stood out even more than the rivalry headlines. So here's the question, can anyone stop the Fever when they play like this? Reese may grab attention, but Clark's focus is driving Indiana. This season, the league is on notice.